Greetings, friends. Bentley, Too Damn Many Projects with another damn project. Laugh it up. It's a project that's been around for a while. I just haven't done much with it. It's finally in the shop. I mean, got this thing with one motor that didn't work. They thought it was a fuel pump, and guess where the fuel pump was? On the back side, where even Jacob couldn't get to it. It's way back, crawl to a corner and get to it. It's like, okay. Turned out it was a combination of the valve for the fuel coming from the tank, and by that time apparently I had pretty much smoked the new electric fuel pump. So once I went back, got another one, we were good. I ended up having to go through the carburetor. It had more garbage in it. I wanted to take some pictures of it yesterday, but I was kind of in this, I got to get my butt to work and get it out of here because we're fighting the tide on getting the boat hauled out. So I basically just went through the carburetor, cleaned it, brake cleaned it, you know, all that other crap that you do. Tried to blow it out where I could, and I got it to start. When I first started it the day before, it would only run if you continued revving it, which tells me the accelerator pump, if you don't know what that is, don't worry about it, it works. The accelerator pump is the only thing keeping it running, because as soon as you quit moving the throttle, it would just starve out and die. So going through it, I couldn't get it to idle, but I could get it to go up to 1100 RPMs, which was telling me it was on the cruise circuit of the carburetor, which is fine. And I just didn't want to have it go too far, because in general what happens there is you'll break the transmission coupler. There's a damper in there, but it wasn't that high. But I got both the motors set up as close as I could, and then we backed out and drove it over and had it yanked out. It was absolutely flawless, had a little wind. It was colder than hell. Let me tell you, it was frigid up there. That fly bridge is cold. But we got that done. Now, here's something that's fun about this boat. You don't see this very often. There's two exhaust ports for this motor on the right-hand side, starboard, and there's two exhaust ports over here. Sorry about the location, I don't have much room here. But these motors have real live dual marine exhaust, and let me tell you, this thing sounds like a dream. When you fire it up, it just cooks. Now, I'm glad I'm out of the marina. I gotta tell you, that's a zinc, okay? That thing is called a zinc. And yeah, I left the label on it. I did those in actually the 2nd of July. That's when they got put on, when the boat was launched after coming back from Chelan. That was a trip. These are brand new zincs, and this marina is so freaking hot that it just eats the zincs. This is the big zinc at the back, and we'll talk about those, because this is where you want to have a huge green wire coming off of this inside, going to a bus, and then big wires coming off of the motors, and then all your AC ground goes there, and then also your DC ground goes through those motors. It stays separated. It's not going to cross itself. People wonder about that. But I mean, look at the chunks coming out of this thing. I mean, criminy, I've seen less trouble struck by lightning. And then, you know, we can look under here. I mean, you get look at these zincs. They're torn to shreds. I've just eaten. And I knew we had problems with bottom paint. I knew the bottom paint was pretty thin. It's been on a lake. Nobody ever puts bottom paint on a lake, or very little. And we got some little mussels there that grew on it. There were a lot more yesterday. And this boat's going to be a trailer boat. I'm done with marinas. I'm done with their decay from all their crappy electric. I mean, it's lucky this boat didn't go right down to the bottom. Jacob had noticed that while we were sitting in the marina, that every time he looked at the coupler on the output shaft, that it kept looking like it had grown more fur. And it definitely has, because it was corroding. And I knew there was an urgency to get it the hell out of there. So I did. We got it finally. It's in the shop. She's a big girl. She takes up a lot of room. I measured, before we put the boat in, at 30 feet. It's actually 30 feet, 6 inches overall. because I got rid of the bow pulpit. I hate those things. So I have this nice pointed end, very elegant, and we'll work the rub rail out so it covers that. And then since I have a TIG welder and I'm going to learn how to do stainless welding, I think that's going to be a hell of a lot of fun, because I'm going to make my own stainless rails for the side of the boat. But here's my spot. I painted on the floor. I said, here's where we're going to be. And here's where we actually are. So I was off about a foot. But kinds of little fun things here. All this stuff's going to get fixed. All the bottom paint's getting sanded off completely. Anything that's painted is coming off because we have a new product, and I've applied to be the distributor and an applicator for the product, but apparently it's pretty dang good stuff. It's an epoxy type of bottom paint, and it's not ablative. For those of you who know boats, ablative bottom paint sheds, and they call it self-polishing. Yeah, it's what it's doing is it's shedding stuff that they think is bad for the environment, and I don't know whether it is or not, because they don't know from day to day what's good or bad for the environment. But you know, I don't like the fact that crap has to be redone all the time. Well, this new product, you put it on, and I mean literally, you can paint the keel with it, go all the way up to the rub rail, and this is going to be black, so it's going to be ultra gloss. I've seen their gloss. It's really freaky glossy, which, you know, trips my trigger. I love it. This is a painted boot stripe, and it's wearing out, so we'll sand that off. There won't be any paint on this hull at all. It'll be pure fiberglass gel coat. It's probably pretty thin, but it's, even as it is, and being 40 years old, it's still better gel coat than any Bayliner out there. This is a Tollycraft. It's a 30-foot sport cruiser with an Edmont Jr. hull. If you ever look at one of these up against an Ocean Alexander, they're almost identical hulls, and they're fabulous. They're built for the Pacific Northwest. They handle really rough water. I've been in some ugly stuff with another one of these boats, and I got to tell you, they're great. They'd be fun in Southern California, man. You just kick ass on the water, going to Catalina, open it up. With these motors are in there, propped correctly, you can hit 40 knots with it. I've heard more. I'm just taking some pictures of the props. They look like they're in pretty good shape. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I got somebody that's trying to swap him. He wants to get rid of his 4-bladers. I'd like to have them. So these are pretty clean. I mean, they're really not in bad shape at all. So we should see what we got and let him know.